So we have on the big side, we've got Oracle and SAP and JD Edwards and Infor and Exap. Microsoft has various things. And then we have traditionally the CDK was separate, eEmphasis was separate, DIS was separate, NDS was separate. All of these things, now it shakes down that we've got a whole bunch of big guys, probably $1 billion or more, each of them in sales. And where do you fit in with your software offering?
Well, where do I fit in right now, or where do we expect to fit in the future?
How about we start with the beginning?
When we started our little project, we looked around and we partnered with a couple of dealers who were using older software packages in a very frustrating way, where they had spent a significant amount of money to bring in a package. Support was short and poor, and they continued to have problems over a couple of years of using it. Specifically, areas of the software that they could never get an answer for why it worked the way it worked, or why it wouldn't work, or why they couldn't fix it. And I think that's a little indicative of a lot of the software packages and what happens. And it's very natural. It's almost free of blame to some degree. It's just when you have something that was developed 30, 40 years ago at its core by a bunch of guys who have since retired, that knowledge of how they put that together and why it was put together that way, and potentially even the code it was written in, which is now really old, it becomes a little bit untouchable. And while there's great knowledge and experience in the software of how to run things, if you can't manage that old code base, then it just starts to age, and it starts to, and that's what we've seen is, these older packages really getting layered on and, reskinned at times. IBM, since a lot of it's written in AS400, IBM brings out new refresh packages on the UIs, but the code base in the back end is not changing, and so as much as we try and migrate them, eventually you age out. And so we started our project to really take everything we know about dealer and rental operations, and rebuild that knowledge base, that experience into modern software. So
basically, you started with a clean blackboard, right?
We started with a clean computer text editor.